Welcome to Camp Read-A-Lot, boys and girls. Our story today is Stella and Roy Go Camping. We've had lots of fun camping too. This story is written by Ashley Wolf. One warm summer day, Stella and Roy set off with their mother to go camping. Stella carried a sleeping bag and her new book of animal tracks. Roy carried his new flashlight and a big bag filled with trail mix. Mother carried everything else. At the start of the trail, they studied a large map. This year, Stella had learned to read, and now she practiced on everything she could. She pointed to a white dot and read out loud, "You are here." Her finger traced a wiggly yellow line up to a big blue shape. Lone Pine Lake, she said. "That's where we're going." "Look over here," said Roy. "A bear." Stella read the words above the picture. "Don't be bear careless." "Bears," whispered Roy. "I hope we see one." "Well, I hope we don't," said Stella. "Well, I hope you two are ready to go," said Mother. "This pack weighs a ton." So they headed up the trail to Lone Pine Lake. Soon Roy saw some footprints in a dried up mud puddle. "Look, Stella, bear tracks," he shouted. "No way, Roy," said Stella. She flipped through the pages of her book. "Here they are," she cried, excited to find a picture of tracks that matched the ones on the ground. "Those prints were made by a coyote. See?" "Oh," said Roy, "just a coyote." They hiked along the trail again. After a while, it led them over a rocky ridge. Stella stopped to read a small sign. "Lone Pine Lake, 2 miles. "Look, Stella, baby bear tracks," shouted Roy. He pointed to paw prints near a boulder. "Sorry, Roy," said Stella. "Those tracks are way too small." So she flipped through her book. "I think they were made by a marmot. See?" "Oh," said Roy, "just a marmot." Lunchtime, they sat down by a stream to have salami sandwiches, oranges, and juice. Afterwards, Stella and Roy took off their boots and their socks, waded in the icy water. "Look, Stella, a bear went fishing," shouted Roy. "Bear?" said Mother, sitting up. "Who said bear?" "Roy did," said Stella. "But don't worry, there's no bear." Stella waded up to the bank to get her book. "Those are raccoon tracks. See? They look little, like little hands." "Oh," said Roy, "just a raccoon." The trail wound up and up. Roy grew tired. He walked slowly, keeping his eyes on the ground. Every time he spotted animal tracks, he cried out, "Bear?" Every time he did, Stella would hike back down the trail, look at all the tracks, find the picture in her book, and announce, "Wrong, Roy." They saw deer tracks, skunk tracks, bobcat tracks, and porcupine tracks. No bear tracks. At last, they came to another trail sign. "Lone Pine Lake, 1/2 mile." Stella read. "Does that mean that we're close?" "Almost there," sighed Mother, mopping her forehead. Stella balanced her way across a fallen log bridge and ran ahead up the trail. "We've seen so many footprints," she thought. "I wonder where all the animals are." Can you see some of the animals in the pictures? Suddenly, the trail ended, and there it was, Lone Pine Lake. "Hooray!" yelled Stella. "We're here!" Stella helped Mother pitch the tent, pounding the stakes into the pine-needly earth. Roy gathered small logs and sticks and bits of curly bark for a campfire later. When a pot of water was finally boiling on the tiny camp stove, Roy dropped in some noodles. Stella stirred in spices, and Mother added cut-up hot dogs to make their favorite soup. It smelled so delicious in the cool mountain air. As they washed the dirty pots and bowls, In, uh, in heated up lake water, the sun began to drop behind the mountains. "Soon it'll be dark," said Mother, "so we better get ready. All our food, cereal, apples, even our toothpaste and sunscreen must go in here." She opened a black plastic bear barrel. Stella and Roy helped her pack everything into it. "Bears go after anything that smells good," Mother said. "But once I turn these screws, there's no way Mr. or Mrs. Bear can get at our food, no matter how hungry they are." "Roy," she added, "you roll the barrel way over to that tree. We don't want it anywhere near our tent." Then Mother built a small campfire with Roy's wood and bark. The flames cast weird shadows that danced on the tree trunks and the sides of their tent. "Surprise! Look what I have." Mother held up a small bag. "Marshmallows!" cheered Roy. "You'll have to eat them all," said Mother, "or a bear may come sniffing for leftovers." "No problem," said Stella. "We can manage." When the gooey roasted marshmallows were all gone and the fire put out, Stella, Roy, and Mother zipped themselves into the tent and snuggled into their sleeping bags. Stella and Mother fell right to sleep. Roy held tight to his new yellow flashlight. He was listening to the strange night noises. He heard trees moaning as their branches swayed and scraped in the wind. He heard waves lapping, clattering the pebbles on the shore. He heard Mother snoring softly. He heard their food clunking as it rolled around in the black plastic barrel. Their food clunking around in the barrel? "Stella," Roy whispered, "wake up! I think there's a bear outside." "Oh boy," mumbled Stella. "It's just a dream." She rolled over and she went back to sleep. There it was again, louder this time. Roy wondered what to do. Very quietly, he crawled out of his sleeping bag. He unzipped the tent flap. In the moonlight, a brown bear was rolling the black plastic barrel all around their campsite. She juggled it, she wrapped her paws around it, she spun it, she swatted at it, but the barrel just rolled away, sending her chasing after it. One more swat, and both barrel and bear rolled near the tent. Now Roy really didn't know what to do. What if the bear came closer? Roy aimed his flashlight, turned it on. The bear snorted, straightening up on her hind legs. Roy held his breath. Ooh, the bear looked a lot bigger now. For a moment more, the bear stood blinking into the beam of light. Then she snorted again, dropped on all fours, and padded off into the woods. Roy quickly zipped up the tent and crawled back into his sleeping bag. He could hardly believe it. He had seen a bear. He turned off his flashlight and lay awake for a long, long time. In the morning, Stella was the first one up. She unzipped the tent flap, stepped outside. The lake shimmered in the early morning sun. Animals were everywhere. She held still and gazed all around. She saw 2 deer, a coyote, a skunk, and lots of birds. And then she saw the bear barrel. It was covered with scratches and dust and surrounded by hundreds of footprints. They were bigger than her own feet. "These sure don't look like anything we saw yesterday," she thought. "Roy," she called, "quick, get my book. Hurry." Roy brought the book. Stella flipped through the pages until she found a picture that matched. These tracks were made by just a bear, Roy said. It was big and brown and really cool, and I saw it. And this time, Stella knew that Roy was right, because there's the print of a real bear. They had a good adventure. This book has information about all the animals that you might see if you went on a camping trip, and how they live and where they live. You might like to go on a camping trip, even if it's in your own backyard. That was Stella and Roy Go Camping. That must be a couple different families.
With our theme camp relot, cooking out on an open flame is probably one of my favorite things to do. And today, a few of us are going to share some of our favorite camping recipes. So if you come on over here, we're going to do campfire pies, and we're also going to do campfire crescent dogs. So for the campfire pies, you need a pie iron. You'll need 2 pieces of bread, some butter, and some cherry pie filling. So all you do is take a little butter, spread it on one side of the bread, put the butter side down, take your other slice, do the same thing. Butter side down, add a couple tablespoons of your favorite pie filling. I chose cherry today. Close the pie iron, cook it together, and then away you go. You just put it over the campfire and cook it until it's done. You can check it every once in a while to make sure it doesn't burn. The second one we have is campfire crescent dogs. And if you're home camping, you can do these in the oven as well. You'll need a hot dog and some crescent roll. You can either just take your crescent roll and wrap it up, or you can take it and kind of roll it into a snake and then wrap it around. And then place it on your stick, and then you just roast it over the campfire as well until it is done. And that's how you make campfire pies and campfire crescent dogs.
Hello campers! Today the librarians are camping out and making some of their favorite camp out foods. My recipes today are for Hobo Dinners. If you've ever been in scouting, you're familiar with Hobo Dinners, and they're super easy. I usually make my things ahead of time and put them in my cooler, so that way you're all ready to go. I start out with a patty of hamburger, all made at home. After you wash your hands, first you start in. Put the patty of hamburger on the foil, and then you take a potato and slice it into slices. Always have your parents help you with things like knives and doing the fire. Potatoes are something you need to do right on the campsite. That would be the only thing, because they don't turn out so well if you do them at home. But first is the hamburger, next is the potatoes, then I bring some nice carrots and onions. And they can also be sliced up at home. You just layer it up. Carrots, onions, make a nice little stack. Then, just for fun, I brought some cherry tomatoes along. They taste real good over the coals too. Or if you have green pepper or any other additives from your house that you'd like to have, it's kind of like beef stew in a foil pouch. Then I usually add a little salt and pepper to taste. And then you're ready to seal it up. I make fold, meat in the middle, and then fold it up tight on the ends, making a little pouch. And there we have it. We lay this right in our campfire. If it's a little bit gapped at the top, it never hurts to have extra foil along to put an extra layer, because you can put them right in the coals that way. Another thing you can do is make these at home. If rain or weather prevents you from camping out, I make these sometimes in my oven by just putting them on a cookie sheet at 350 degrees. When they're done in about 45 minutes to an hour, after you peek inside, it will be hot, so be cautious. Poke it with a fork to make sure the potatoes are done. Then I like to add barbecue sauce and ketchup. So that's how you make hobo dinners. Hi, I'm going to show you how to make a camping dessert favorite called Easy Dutch Oven Cobbler. I have my large Dutch oven here from scouting days. Dutch ovens are a really essential camping cooking tool because they're all seasoned. All you have to do for this recipe is add 3 simple ingredients. First, we have our cans of peaches. We're going to put in 2. You can use any fruit, but peaches is a favorite. The nice thing about Dutch ovens is you don't have to do anything to prepare them except have them be clean and put your peaches in. 2 cans ought to do it, and I get the can with the juice. You can chop the peaches up or leave them in slices. Next, you simply add dry cake mix and sprinkle it evenly all over the peaches. You take a spoon and make sure you don't stir, you just make sure that it's spread evenly over the peaches. The third ingredient in this easy recipe is a slice of butter. At home, I prepared mine so I wouldn't have to be cutting it up here at the campsite. So I have all my slices already cut. So that way I can just put them evenly across the top of the Dutch oven. Mixture, and you don't stir, it just lays on top. Next, I brought my cinnamon and sugar to top it off. I put the lid on, and I'm ready to set it in the campfire or with charcoals, arranged on the top and arranged on the bottom. Probably about 12 to 15 around the bottom in a circle, and then in a checkerboard pattern on the top. Maybe again about a dozen. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour, and then let it cool and enjoy. Always have your parents help you with anything involving fire.
Hi kids! Today we are going to make my all-time favorite camping snack, and that would be s'mores. Did you know there's different ways you can make s'mores? Well, I'm going to show you 3 ways to make s'mores today. The first way is just our regular way with a Hershey's chocolate bar. So when you make a Hershey chocolate bar one, you're going to want graham crackers. You'll have a full one and you can split that in half, and then you'll have your top and your bottom. Of course, you're going to need a marshmallow. So when you're camping, you can take a marshmallow, get it out of my bag here. You can have your marshmallow stick, put it on that stick, and then roast it over by the hot fire. And when that's all done, be careful that you don't burn yourself. If you need a parent, have them help you get that marshmallow off. You'll take the marshmallow off your stick, you'll put it on your graham cracker, and then you'll take your Hershey's bar. And so I have a Hershey's bar here. You only need a little bit, you don't need a full candy bar, so you'll just get that off, and you'll put that right onto your marshmallow, and then you'll put the top on. That is how you make a regular marshmallow s'more. But if you want to know my favorite way, besides our Hershey's chocolate bar, it's my favorite candy bar, a Reese's cup. Now it's the same thing. You're going to take your graham crackers, split them in half, so you have 2 of them, the top and the bottom. You'll take another marshmallow and you'll go and you'll put that on your stick again and roast that. If you need a parent, again, it's important that you have them help you with that. Then you'll put your marshmallow right on top. And then you'll take your Reese's cup right out of the package. And you'll put that right on top. And that gooiness will get all of that chocolate. It will be yummy. Now there's a different way you can make a marshmallow. And this is with using a strawberry. So with strawberries, you can have a chocolate graham cracker. These are chocolate instead of the regular graham crackers. So you'll need to have 2 of those for your top and your bottom. And instead of using a marshmallow, you're going to use marshmallow cream. And what you're going to do is you're going to just take a knife and you're going to spread your marshmallow cream onto that layer of your graham crackers. So your bottom, you'll just spread that right on there. And then you'll have your strawberry. So here's my strawberry here. You're going to just cut that up into little pieces, and then you're just going to put a little strawberry onto your graham cracker, and then put your bottom. And that is how you make 3 types of s'mores. When you go camping, you need to be careful, and there's several tips that we're going to share with you today. The first thing when you go camping is always know where you're at. So you can use a map and you can mark where you're at on your map, or also you could use a compass. So a compass, you'll just look, that will tell you south, north, west, east, and it'll tell you exactly where you are, and you can map out where you are. Now, if you do get lost, it's important to bring a whistle with you so you can blow your whistle and make lots of noise so that someone else knows and they can come and find you. You can also leave footprints along so people know where you're at. Also, when you go camping, if you see trash on the floor, it's very, very important that you pick that trash up. What you take into the campsite, you take back with you. Those are my tips. What are your tips, Sharon?
I like to remember to always bring bug spray, because bugs have a way of biting your ankles and your open skin that's exposed. So bug spray's on my list, and sunscreen. Who wants to go home from a camping trip with a bad sunburn? But most important is water. Always bring your personal water to drink and a jug of water to put out your campfire. Chris?
When I go camping, I love to go hiking, and I always take a couple of things with me. I love to know exactly what wildlife is with me, so I bring some sort of chart that shows the tracks and the scat that will identify the type of animal. Also, when I'm hiking, I bring a small first aid kit, and then I always have a larger first aid kit for back at the campsite. So those are my tips. Always have a first aid kit, and then it's kind of fun to see what animals are around when you are camping. So those are some great tips. There are lots more that you can find online, or just ask your parents. They'll be able to give you some great advice before going camping. Have fun.